Gosh, would you look at the time? I don't have long before I have to teach my next class on number story. Oh, hey, hi guys. Welcome. You're right on time. Today I'll be talking with you about number stories, but these number stories are going to involve measures. Now, don't be nervous when you hear number stories because they're not that difficult. We actually act them out in real life every day. For example, when you're helping mom in the kitchen, you use measuring cups. When you are getting ready to create an art project, you use rulers. That's right. And just like me, I keep up with the time so that I know how long I have until my next activity. What you're going to do today is take a look at some number stories in your math journals, and you're going to solve them along with me and then have time to practice by yourself. Let's get started. Okay, guys, so today our focus is to solve number stories involving measures. We will look closely at number stories that involve length, time, mass, or volume. Length is the measure from one point to another. We record length in centimeters, meters, and kilometers. In science class, you measured things like seeds using centimeters. You can measure long distances like bike races in kilometers. Here are some tools to measure distance. In class, we use the tape measure and meter stick to measure the length of long objects. Your PE teacher may have used the trundle wheel to create the markers for a long race. Time is another type of measure. We use clocks and watches to measure length of time. In this unit, we will express time in hours, minutes, or seconds. Mass will be mentioned in a few of the number stories. Some people confuse mass and weight. Remember, mass is the amount of matter in an object. We measure mass in grams and kilograms. For example, a paper clip is about 1 gram. A book could be about 1 kilogram. Scales like balance scales and kitchen scales are used to measure mass. Volume is another measure that we will explore. Not the volume that you use in your headset. This volume is the amount of space occupied by a liquid. We measure small amounts of liquid, like medicine, in milliliters. We measure larger amounts of liquid in liters. How do you feel about solving number stories? Where would you start? What would you do? I will show you the process I use to solve number stories. Here is a guide I use to solve number stories. The first thing I do is make sense of the problem by reading through it carefully to see what I understand. Next, I make a plan. In that plan, I decide if I'm going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. I also decide if I'm going to make a table, a graph, a diagram, or draw a picture. Then I solve the problem, being sure to clearly show my work. If I get stuck, I will think of other strategies that could possibly help me. I will be sure to express my answer with units. Finally, I check over my work to see if my thinking makes sense. Now I will show you types of drawings and diagrams that I use to help me solve number stories. I could draw a basic line to illustrate a division or a multiple of measures. I could use a number line to help me calculate a length of time. Or I could draw a basic picture of what is discussed in the number story. Sometimes authors give us drawings or diagrams to study. If I look closely at this diagram, I see that it asks how much more liquid is in beaker B than in beaker A. If I think carefully, I know that I need to subtract the amount in beaker A from beaker B. I could use a change diagram to help me when I can identify parts of a number story. Let's take a look at a number story. Turn in your books to page 224. Remember, the first thing you must do is to read to make sense of it. The city zoo is home to a male African lion. After the lion arrived, he gained about 8 kilograms of mass each month for 8 months. He now has a mass of about 186 kilograms. What was the lion's starting mass? Answer, about in units. I can identify parts of the number story, and I see that they are asking me to identify the start. So I will use a change diagram. Now I can identify what I know within the number story. He now has a mass of about 186 kilograms. Now means the end result. Now I need to figure out the mass he started with. Since I don't know it, I will put a question mark. I also know that he gained 8 kilograms each month for 8 months. That means he increased by 8 kilograms multiple times. Now it's time to show my thinking. First, I will write a number sentence that matches the information I know. Since I'm missing the start, I can work backward to find it. Therefore, I will subtract to figure out the starting point. Next, I will check my work by adding the start to what the lion gained. As I look, I see that all of my numbers match, so I think that my answer makes sense. Now it's your turn. You will complete Math Journal pages 224 and 225. Come back tomorrow to check your answers to see if you were correct in your thinking. As added fun, you can go to the next content block. There are some links and activities to help you practice with measurement in real life. Now it's time for you to go off and practice, practice, practice.